Can't complain. Everything's going great this stretch from Atlanta to now Legion. So going well.
It's I said I sent you the screenshot because I took I sent the video to the MD group chat, and I said, guys, I normally when someone like say Derek Lunsford or Hadi, they go from 212 up to open, but they train for open. Then you see a big difference. But you're a guy that is actually qualified for the Olympia this year as a 212 and is kind of cruising into the Olympia as a 212, but you're ready at what, 225 or something at the moment? 229 I saw?
Yeah, that's right. I'm 220, 222, 223 in the morning. Yeah. Then when I have, I sent you some video, right? That's about 226 post training.
Yeah. I mean, that shows that, because I saw the video of you doing some back poses at 5 weeks out. I think you're 229 in that one. I'm sure that's right. And yeah. I was looking, we were zooming right in because we put it up in Hot News. We filmed it yesterday. And Derek and myself said he's ready. He looks ready there. So that's someone who has to then lose 15 to 17 pounds or whatever by the time, give or take. That's what you have to take off to get down to 212. So that means we've not seen the best John Jewett on stage yet, but we will at Legion. Is that the case?
That absolutely is the case, and I am so excited to finally feel like, every time you bring a better version of yourself or see improvements, that's what you want in bodybuilding, right? And to know that I've never brought that and to see it all happening in the gym right now, it has me on just fire for bodybuilding and on fire to do the open, to where, gosh, well, I guess we'll get there with that, maybe those questions that come after, but it absolutely would be my best because I've never seen my front shots gain so much fullness and roundness off that extra weight.
Yeah.
I would say still some limiting areas, like where there's just more tissue probably needed, would be my back just in general. But I don't know how much more it would really take to be, a very complete open bodybuilder. But at this point, after Atlanta, I just said, I'm going to prep for Legion, full on, like it's the only show in my mind. And my body weight just creeped up, condition stayed, and I actually started getting deep lines in my glutes because my glutes are now filled out and pushing against the skin, so you see more detail. And so now I'm sitting here at this body weight where I'm like, man, 212 would be quite a sacrifice in the look to get down.
So where would you normally be body weight wise if you were prepping purely for the Olympia as you are now? If you were purely going to put Legion aside, if you were prepping for the Olympia, what would you kind of be at now normally?
Yeah, I would have to be pretty close to that high teen area.
Wow.
Usually I have to be 217, 218. Then about 7 to 10 days out is where I really have to start pulling all the tricks to get body weight to pull down, really start depleting down to where usually 1 to 2 days out before that weigh-in time is I'll be 213, 214. We do all the food pulls and stuff, and I don't go extreme with water. I think or diuretics. I think that's a disaster to come back from. But I do as much needed. So we're right on a weigh-in day. I'll hit it right on the mark for 212 weigh-ins.
Wow.
So it's and you don't come back quite the same from that. Like in Atlanta, I came back. I was 214, 215 on stage. But once you pull it down that low, there's no way to fill. People are like, why don't you just fill back out to 223? It's you can't put that much back in without turning into a watery mess. But yeah, there's I have to really keep chasing the scale weight down to get down there.
See, I remember speaking to Flex Lewis, and he told me, he said, look, because he obviously won the first 212 in 2012. He said, from 2014, it was a huge stress to try and get down to 212. It had to be planned out weeks, even months in advance, and I had to really watch he said it was almost become obsessed about my weight because it was so hard to get down. When did you start struggling to make 212? At what point?
I've never had to be a huge struggle to get down. In 2019, going into that Olympia, because I think that was one of my best Olympias. Yep. I was sitting around in the morning, 214, 215. So it wasn't much to get down to that. I've always kind of been close on the cusp, but I think years, even when I struggled to, you have to limit food a little bit today. I don't think I was in as much condition as I really need to be. It's this past year where I actually had an off season. Giles, I haven't had a real off season since 2017.
Really?
I've been pretty much in like prep phases or not really having an off season because of my weight.
Yeah.
So when I took off this past year, I think I gained back a lot of the size that I kind of lost throughout all these years dieting, because I was down to like 203 in 2021 on stage.
I remember you said you dropped it down. You dropped down, didn't you? But then you placed lower.
Yeah. I was super conditioned, but lost a lot of size.
What was it, 4th to 13th or 15th or something? Was it 4th to 13th?
Yeah. Well, in 2020, I had a 13th.
That's
then
right.
21, I had a 9th.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I took that year off. I think I gained size back and then some, to where now this year it's like, oh wow, this is I couldn't go any higher without really just it wouldn't even make sense to make weight. So. But now post show after Atlanta, putting food in and just training and getting like really focusing on training progression, I just now this is where I'm at. So it's like now it's 212 is almost like would be the impossible task to get down to.
So I mean, after Atlanta, you qualified for the 212 Olympia. It's like, yes, I've qualified. It's what every single pro wants to do really when they're going for a pro show or to place well. You got it. At what point did you say, I don't think I can make it down to 212 again. I want to go open?
Open has been in my mind, I think, since I turned pro. I remember Jansen was coaching me at the time for USA's. He's like, just do a 212 show. Let's just see where you're at.
Yeah.
8 weeks after I turned pro, I did Phoenix. And I was like, all right, I got 5th there. I want to go open. Like, and then it was just kind of a mess. I got really sick. That was my off season I had in 17. And I went to Dominican Republic. I got very sick. I lost 20 pounds of body weight.
Oh, wow.
I was like 240. I'm like, well, let's just do 212. And since then, I've been doing 212. So I just never took that big off-season jump to do it. So it's always been in my mind to do an open show, just see that best version of myself and have the question mark around of what I could really do. And you see all these other guys doing it as well. So I'm like, man, and I think that seeing them do it and also how the judging criteria has seemed to favor just the best bodybuilder for the day, whether you're 6'2" or you're 5'2", doesn't really matter. I think years ago, maybe that did, but it's just been encouraging where like at this point, I've done 3 Olympias. Like, I don't care what anyone else really thinks or about a status. Like, this is all about me and my self-improvement. And to do that, I want to see the best version on stage. So that is, I think, would be the open in my opinion.
I didn't realize you'd been not just struggling, but doing as much as you could to make sure you stayed in 212, like not having a proper off season. I didn't realize it been going on for that long. I thought you were just a 212. And then when I saw that, the video I actually sent you just with the front posing, I was like, guys, this is a completely different. I said to you, this is a completely different version of John. I think this guy is meant to go open.
Yeah, seeing that now, it's kind of like, man, I should have done this a long time ago. But
you're ready.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
And it also is exciting because I haven't pushed that off season, and I'm healthy. My body's fresh. I don't have any major injuries. I'm 37, so I think I still have some years left to see it out, to see what that potential really could be.
Yeah. And I think now you've got guys like Derek, Hadi, and even guys like William Bonac that have proved that, like you said before, the lighter guys, the shorter guys or whatever, didn't seem to get as good a look in. It was very rare, unless like Sean Rayleigh, Labrada. That's why they brought the 202 and the 212 in. But now there's guys, like Derek and Hadi, the 1 and 2, that are proving that, and also I think I spoke to Kamal and he said, look, I don't want to do 212 anymore. He says, because it's a struggle for me. He says, and I want to bring, like you said, you want to bring your best physique to the stage. And when I saw that video, I'm like, yeah, we've not seen the best version of John, because the only way we'll see that is as an open.
Yeah, agreed. And so like doing Legion, it was in my mind an easy way to jump in, and I'll be stage ready and not have to do a 212 Olympia and then wonder all the time in the off season again of like, should I do the open? Should I not do the open?